Darren Watkins Jr. got kicked out of his house at 14 for streaming video games. No backup plan, just a cheap mic, bad Wi-Fi, and the kind of ambition most parents don't understand. 5 years later, he's built a global empire out of chaos, and he still calls himself just a regular kid. This isn't just another rags to riches YouTuber story. It's about what happens when a teenager refuses to fold under family pressure, ditches everything normal, and risks being alone just to chase something no one else believed in. What Speed built wasn't just a fan base, it was a full-on cultural movement powered by sheer stubbornness, late-night streams, and a will to prove everybody wrong. Speed didn't come from a polished suburb with a ring light and a YouTube manager dad. He was born January 21, 2005 in Cincinnati, Ohio, into a fractured household. Parents split early, his dad lost custody, and his mom tried to hold things down solo. The neighborhood was rough, full of fights and hard lessons before he ever hit go live. In school, he was loud, wild, and impossible to ignore. The kind of kid who danced in talent shows and cracked jokes in class just to hear people laugh. But outside the classroom, it wasn't all fun. He channeled that energy into football and basketball, playing competitively his freshman year. His speed earned him the nickname, but it was confidence that made it stick. Still, there was something else quietly brewing behind all the athletic hype. A controller, a console, and a dream. He loved games, NBA 2K, Fortnite, and like a million other kids, he worshipped Ninja. The difference? Speed actually believed he could do it. Told his mom at 11 that he wanted to stream full-time. She brushed it off, but the seed was planted. He uploaded his first video in 2017, and by 2018, he was live streaming Fortnite to an audience of literally one. That one viewer mattered. Every single person who watched kept him going. By 2020, he was a sophomore, averaging 20 viewers, and had to make a decision: school or streaming. He dropped the books. Imagine being 15, getting kicked out of your house, and not because you did something wrong, but because you were doing something new. Speed didn't quit when his mom gave him the ultimatum. He packed up, moved to Detroit with his dad, and streamed every day from a new city with no friends, no backup, just him and a dream. He was alone, depressed, and practically invisible offline. But online, he was growing. It's easy to cheer for someone once they've won, but when you're sitting in a quiet room refreshing your stream for that third viewer to show up, no one's clapping, no one's texting. Speed streamed through that silence. He made strangers into supporters and subscribers into friends. Even after he was gaining traction, his mother's approval never quite caught up. Every big milestone, 100K, 600K, 800K, met with complaints about noise, curfews, and lectures midstream. He celebrated with his audience, not his family. He'd try to involve his mom, ask her to say something, anything. A simple congrats. Most of the time, she couldn't or wouldn't. That pain stuck with him. On Mother's Day, he called to say he loved her. She didn't say it back. When Speed's mom saw a clip of him cussing on a World Star video, she didn't see potential. She saw embarrassment. That's the generational gap in full view. One side sees internet fame as shameful, the other sees it as opportunity. The clip had 30,000 views. For Speed, that was massive. For his mom, it was the last straw. She kicked him out for streaming, literally building something and not understanding it. That's the kind of household power dynamic most teens face when their dreams don't fit in a curriculum. She wasn't evil, she just didn't get it, but it still hurt. And this wasn't a one-off. When he returned to her house to finish school, she set strict rules. Quiet by 11 p.m., early streams only. Even then, she'd cut the Wi-Fi midstream or yell in the background. Milestones like 600K subs were interrupted, shut down, or ignored. It wasn't just frustrating, it was demoralizing. There's something deeply broken when a kid achieves what most can't even dream of, and the only reaction is, be quiet. No celebration, no acknowledgement, just tension. You could see it wearing on him live. Hitting goals but holding back the joy. That kind of emotional mismatch messes with you. And yet, he still tried, still included her, still wanted her in it. What does it say about us when a teenager needs to leave home just to follow a dream? How many parents would have supported Speed if he said he wanted to be a lawyer instead? Isn't 30,000 views something to be proud of, especially if you earned them on your own? At what point does be quiet become don't be yourself? How loud does success have to be before someone hears it at home? Can we blame a kid for cussing online when the adult in the house is cussing louder midstream? Why do we celebrate athletes in high school but shame streamers who grind harder than anyone? If millions are cheering for you and the people closest to you still don't clap, what does that do to a teenager? What happens when family becomes the first obstacle to your future? And when Speed finally left that house, was it running away or running toward everything he built? Leaving home didn't magically fix everything, but it gave him space, the kind he never had before. He moved into his own place for the first time ever. No curfews, no Wi-Fi drama, no one barging in midstream, just freedom. But even before that, his career had already hit light speed. Between 2021 and 2022, his channel exploded. He went from 100,000 subscribers in April to over 1 million in just 2 months. Every time someone told him to slow down, he picked up the pace. Then came the unexpected shift. A simple super chat from a kid named Bradley. "What football team do you support?" His answer? Cristo Ronaldo. Swoy! That moment didn't just go viral, it kicked open international doors. Suddenly, Speed wasn't just a streamer. He was a global Ronaldo fanboy with millions of new fans outside the US. And that's when the crossover began. TikTok, Instagram, FIFA streams, IRL soccer, and then meeting Ronaldo himself. He didn't just win over the algorithm, he conquered culture. Speed created his YouTube channel in 2016 when he was just 11 years old. His first video went up in December 2017. 1 year later, he was streaming Fortnite to a grand total of 2 viewers. But by 2020, that slow drip turned into a steady climb. 2 viewers became 4, 8, 20, and kept rising week after week. At the time of his eviction, he had around 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers and averaged maybe 20 live viewers. But it only took a few hundred more for things to shift. By early 2021, he was pulling in hundreds of new subscribers per week. That spring, he was at 100,000. 2 months later, 1 million. His viral rise wasn't some fluke. It was compound growth from consistency, a stream-a-day pace, a cult fan base, insane energy, and raw reactions that TikTok chewed up and spit out across the world. Before he even moved out, he had millions. That single Cristo Ronaldo moment, it opened the gates. His global reach went wild. He was pulling 1 million concurrent live viewers in Indonesia during the World Cup stream. Try finding another 17-year-old who's done that. Today, Speed sits at over 40 million subscribers across platforms. Not bad for a kid who once got kicked out for cussing too loud in a room smaller than his current closet. Speed created his YouTube channel in 2016 when he was just 11 years old. His first video went up in December 2017. 1 year later, he was streaming Fortnite to a grand total of 2 viewers. But by 2020, that slow drip turned into a steady climb. 2 viewers became 4, 8, 20, and kept rising week after week. At the time of his eviction, he had around 1,000 to 2,000 subscribers and averaged maybe 20 live viewers. But it only took a few hundred more for things to shift. By early 2021, he was pulling in hundreds of new subscribers per week. That spring, he was at 100,000. 2 months later, 1 million. His viral rise wasn't some fluke. It was compound growth from consistency, a stream-a-day pace, a cult fan base, insane energy, and raw reactions that TikTok chewed up and spit out across the world. Before he even moved out, he had millions. That single Cristo Ronaldo moment, it opened the gates. His global reach went wild. He was pulling 1 million concurrent live viewers in Indonesia during the World Cup stream. Try finding another 17-year-old who's done that. Today, Speed sits at over 40 million subscribers across platforms. Not bad for a kid who once got kicked out for cussing. Too loud in a room smaller than his current closet. Speed never folded, even when the people closest to him didn't get it. He kept streaming when no one was watching. He kept smiling when no one was clapping. He stayed loud even when he was told to be quiet. He didn't just move out of his mom's house, he moved into his own life. And he didn't do it out of spite. He did it with love. His first big goal? Buy her a house. His dream wasn't revenge, it was redemption. Even when she yelled midstream, even when she cut the Wi-Fi, even when she couldn't say "I love you" back, he still tried to bring her into the light with him. That says more than any subscriber count ever could. And now he's paying it forward, supporting his brother, showing up for someone the way he needed someone to show up for him. That's what growth looks like. Not just numbers, but heart. So if you're grinding in silence, getting clowned, told to quit, told to shut up, keep going. Speed did, and look what happened. Speed's story isn't perfect, and that's exactly why it hits so hard. It's messy, loud, emotional, and full of moments that make you cringe and cheer at the same time. But above all, it's real. The kind of journey that proves you don't need approval to get started, you just need the guts to keep going. If this hit you even a little, drop a like, sub to the channel, and let me know in the comments. What would you have done at 14? Quit or walked out the door?